Hey, it's all with your guide to gearing in Season 3 of Dragonflight. Now, while this is going to cover all player levels, consider this as an intermediate guide that assumes you're familiar with the basics of gearing up in Dragonflight. By the end, you'll have a good idea on how to maximize your item level depending on your level of play. I suggest watching through the whole thing once for familiarity, but you can also use the navigation thing below to go to where you want to go. If you don't mind, hit the like button, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live on Twitch, and let's start with basic gearing in the patch. This section is for freshly leveled players and alts, and folks who don't really get into group content. Start off by slamming the quest content in the new Emerald Dream Zone, from the campaign to side quests to world quests. From this, you're going to get explorer level gear of different varieties and reputation that unlocks zone features. Most importantly, as you reach the end of the quest campaign, you're going to get a final quest that will reward you with a powerful crest that's used to craft heroic level gear. If you're looking for more gear upgrades, consider completing legacy zone events for adventure level gear. My personal testing on this is limited, but you're supposed to get adventure level drops from previous zone activities like time rifts, dream surges, and more. Adventure gear will require a handful of whelpling crests to upgrade, but explorer gear only needs flight stones to upgrade to the highest levels. You have to save your flight stones until you feel like you're not going to get any new gear upgrades for a while, or if you're going to cap out. If you're at a stage where all of your gear is at adventure or higher item level and the whelpling crests no longer work for you, you can trade them in for drakes that you can use to max out your veteran gear. The vendor for this is going to be found in the Emerald Dream Zone. While questing, you're going to run into the new Super Bloom event that you ought to complete each week. The quest attached to this gives the even stronger veteran class gear, which is about as good as you can get for a while. Also, complete the weekly quest to earn reputation and plant dream seeds for additional veteran pieces. And when the world boss is available, be sure to knock that out every week for a chance at champion level gear. In the long term, you're going to be amassing sparks used to make epic crafted gear. You'll need a handful of flight stones to make a spark every 2 weeks, and I'm speculating that you're going to get half a spark each time you complete the Worthy Ally quest, as well as other sources if you don't have the maximum amount that you can get in the season. For you folks who mostly stick with outdoor content, that's going to round up the gearing side of this patch. Do the 3 weeklies and world boss, pump your gear full of flight stones, and slowly start crafting favorite pieces of gear for yourself. Without knowing what's next as of this writing, I wouldn't sweat over needing greater item level, at least for now. There are likely going to be paths to obtaining more veteran gear with different appearances and more. But after being fully kitted out in veteran pieces, you'll be more than a match for what threatens you out there in the Emerald Dream, outside of maybe the elite world quests and some of the tougher rare elites. At the start of Season 3 and every 2 weeks, you're going to get 1 charge for the Revival Catalyst. I suggest waiting a bit until you have 2 charges and then apply both charges at once to your favorite pieces. That way you'll make the most thoughtful investments to access your set bonuses. Okay, so you're the type who at least puts up with queuing for endgame. Here's what's up. Gearing is going to be slightly slower than it was in Season 2 because the season limit of crest that you'll be able to get is basically being nerfed from an increase of 150 per week down to 90 per week, but in practice it might be a little bit hard to notice. First off, you want to take care of the quest campaign for an easy enchanted crest. You want to save that for a solid piece of heroic crafted gear. Complete the 3 weekly quests to run a Super Bloom, plant seeds, and earn reputation. Best practice, once you get into the groove, pick up the quests first. That way the rep you get from the Super Bloom will go towards your Worthy Ally quest. And don't forget the world boss too. Running heroics and mythic zeros aren't all that worth it for the gear, but depending on your skill level and preference, you might want to at least run these because they now count towards the Great Vault the following week. The loot table is going to be the same as the mythic dungeon pool, but obviously at a lower item level. Still, I speculate that this can be a source of tier, either directly or something that can be used in the Revival Catalyst. At worst, it's a fairly easy way to fill up the Great Vault, to get tokens for the vendor while waiting for Raid Finder to fully unlock. Speaking of Raid Finder, you're going to need an item level of 424 to be eligible, and it's definitely worth running for the chance at even more veteran gear, especially tier pieces. I don't have full knowledge of this, but there's also a special head enchant that you'll be able to get by raiding. As the weeks go by, you'll eventually earn it, and it can be reapplied to any helmet with no cooldown. This will be a huge help throughout the season, and probably until the end of Dragonflight. This last section is for the bonafide Big 3 player, going for the pinnacle of item level. Here's what to do. After completing the campaign, your time in the new zone is going to be limited to the 3 weekly quests to complete a Super Bloom, to plant seeds, and to farm some rep, the usual thing. This will get you veteran gear, and once you graduate from it, you're free to pretty much stop coming here outside of swinging by for the world boss. Consider running Raid Finder in case you're hungry for cure set pieces, and as a rule of thumb, fill out the Great Vault no matter what you do. And this is mostly in case you want to score a socket upgrade. From here, we're going to rely on my handy dandy guide to item levels and progression. I'll provide a link to this sheet in the video description. Just be sure to save a copy for yourself. Once you're able to swing it, you want to work your way into Mythic Plus and start running +9 keys. This will get you champion gear at the end of the dungeon, as well as Drake Crest to upgrade your existing champion and veteran gear. If you're hard farming, I say just keep running 9s until most, if not all, of your gear is at champion level. But also take a look at your item level. As you stop finding uses for certain crests, you can start upgrading them to higher level crests. Just keep in mind that there are season limits to how many you can get, and this limit does go up per week. When you feel comfortable, start running 11s. You're still going to get champion gear, but you'll also start earning worm crests. I suggest that if or when you hit the season cap on Drakes, give 11s a shot and see how it feels. If it's feeling good, you can start upgrading your champion gear to max level, but be careful when using the revival catalysts. It's going to start working with the first week of season 3, but you only get 1 charge every 2 weeks. You ought to only use it when it's time to complete a set bonus and no sooner. A misplaced charge means up to 2 weeks of waiting. My personal plan is going to be similar to Season 2, which is to live in the +9 to +11 key level, knocking out easy keys with fewer affixes while getting a very comfortable item level, in this case an average item level of like 463. On top of that, I'll be getting hero class gear from the Great Vault. I'll also be raiding in order to get that special head enchant. Eventually, you'll feel comfortable enough to run 16s with the full affixes. This will score you crests at the aspect level, and this is your ticket to reaching the most powerful item level upgrades. It's a good place to live for a while, especially since we don't know if aspects will be as easy to farm up like it was in Season 2 with the Mega Dungeon. This is also a good spot to invest into crafted gear. You're going to need a pretty significant amount of crests. It's the equivalent of timing 5 plus 16 dungeons in order to craft an item level 486 piece of gear, but dude, it's pretty high, it's pretty powerful. But the best gear that you're going to get will come from either Mythic Raids or +18 and higher dungeons. This will award you Myth level gear, and you're going to use a few more aspects to bring the item level of those pieces to 489. As usual, I would suggest upgrading or crafting gear that gives the most stats first, like weapons, legs, chest, or helmet. And like in all the other cases, you'll only want to use the revival catalyst when you're absolutely going to complete a set bonus. If you value gear before challenge, just stay in 16s until your crafted gear is at 486 and you have your 4 set bonus. From there, creep your way into +18s or Mythic Raids for the Myth level gear from the Vault, and fill up the Vault slots for the best chance at decent gear. And that's pretty much the guide for everybody. I hope it was helpful and accurate. Let me know if there's something important that I missed. Please like the video too, that always helps. Subscribe for more coverage and catch me live on streams. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.